Hi, this is Jackie from King's Auto. Today, we're back again with my friend Tom's 996 Carrera 4S. We recently just put a clutch in it. Today, we're gonna be installing a oil pan spacer with a baffle on long right-hand sweepers. These motors seem to have a little bit of oil starvation. So we're going to be throwing in a spacer. This should increase the capacity by, I believe, 2 quarts. And then attached to this bracket that's with the spacer, there will be a baffle bolted to it with flaps, essentially, to prevent oil drainage. Let's get started. So first things first, we have a sump cover for Tom's car. We're just gonna remove it. After that, we're gonna drain the oil. And we're gonna start taking out the oil pan. Nice and dry. Next, we're gonna drain the oil. So keep it as clean as possible. While this is draining, we're just gonna start loosening. I would just gun these off, but I'm kind of afraid they might snap in there, so. So now that we pried the oil pan off, we're going to remove the oil pump pickup. It should just be 2 10mm bolts. Comes right out. All right, so after we've removed the pickup, we have to remove the swirl pots. They get replaced with the ones from the 997. Should be 2 10mm bolts. Go. Swirl pot number 1. Number 2. The new one's much smaller than the originals. There's an O-ring. You have to make sure that you press that in first. So pretty intuitive. Line up the 2 bolt holes. Rock the piece. Make sure that the O-ring is properly engaged. You never want to use a bolt to suck in the O-ring. Very high chance of cutting it. So the O-ring has to sit in place first, and then the bolts are really only just there to keep it in place. Same thing with the other side. Make sure the O-ring's in. Also, another thing to keep note of is to keep your workstation kind of clean. Previously, when I was dropping these bolts, they were falling into the caddy. I was picking up some debris on the bolts, wiped them off before installing them. Just always double check. You don't want random things floating around in the sump. Now for the next step, we're gonna install the oil pump pickup spacer to accommodate the deeper baffle. Again, just make sure everything's clean. It's important to Loctite these bolts. There's a lot of vibrations that go on in the area. You don't want to run the risk of something turning loose, making you lose oil pressure. It's just a downright bad day. I'm just pre-cleaning. So now we're going to prep the spacer and the baffle. We'll take the original pan, remove the OEM baffle, should be 3 10mm. And then we'll just clean the sealing surface real quick. We'll make sure all the oil is out of here. That way when we lay down the RTV gasket maker, it's not gonna interfere with the oil. The oil won't interfere with it, rather. Would you like to know the alloy composition? Aluminum
Silicone? The fuck is that? I know that's copper. Oh, that's 9, that's a number. Prepping the lower oil pan, the spacer, and the baffle with the plate. Right now we're just making sure all of our surfaces are clean. Then we're gonna lay down the sealant, and then we'll create the seal. To make sure we lay the spacers on over here. We're just gonna tighten down into nothing but air. And then in the kit, there's 3 bolts that, again, you'll wanna use Loctite on this.